Today, we're learning a chef's secrets to baking a whole fresh fish. From the prep steps you need to know, going all the way to deboning. That's all ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome to the kitchen. I'm Angie Corley, and my guest today is Chef Matthew Zappoli, and he's a regular visitor to the show, so welcome back.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
Yes, he's already getting started. Now, Chef Matthew oversees the restaurants at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, and he is back with us because of an email sent to DeeAs@fox.com. From a wonderful viewer, Miss Latrice Davis. Thank you. I love that you watch the show while working in Apollo Beach. And she said, Chef, you ready for this?
Yeah.
She said, can I request for you to do a whole fish dish? And I love whole fish, but don't know many options other than snapper, croaker, and since she lived in Florida, mullet. Ooh. All right, she would love to see any ideas that we could come up with. Thanks in advance. Well, Latrice, and for anyone who might be a little nervous about the head on, and the tail too, I want to know, why do we do a whole fish in this way? Not just a kind of pre-packed filet wouldn't be easier or better?
Easier, sure. Better, no. I mean, when you start with a whole fish, a lot of times you're going to end up with a more succulent, more juicy finished product.
Okay.
So I selected Bronzino because, you know, I have an Italian restaurant at the casino called Cipresso.
Yes.
And we feature Bronzino on the menu. And you can find Bronzino locally at a couple of different local shops like Whole Foods and Latte Market.
Okay, that's good. All right, so where do we start?
Well, I think the first place is to kind of talk about the fish itself and how it's been prepared. This fish has been scaled and gutted.
Okay.
What that means is that the fishmonger, the place where you bought it, they opened up the cavity, they took out all of the stomach portion of the fish. They also removed the gills, and then the scales that protect the fish, they've also removed them.
Okay, so it's not quite as frightening as it might look to see it. So it's better for, when you buy it, to have them scale it and gut the fish.
It's definitely easier, and in my opinion, cleaner when you get home too.
Yes.
You know, because if you're gonna scale a fish at home, you're gonna run into those scales kind of flying all over the place.
Yes.
And we don't want to be vacuuming up scales off the floor.
Thank you, Chef Matthew. Thank you so much for that.
So after you get it home and it's been scaled and gutted, you know, you're gonna check to make sure that there aren't any scales. I like to remove the smaller fins from around the outside. You've got two up in the front here. You've got one on the bottom here.
And you're just using regular kitchen shears?
These are, yes, very heavy-duty German-style kitchen shears. And there is one more in the dorsal fin area, which is a little bit, these are a lot tougher, so they could take two hands sometimes to get through there. And we just remove it like that. Now these fish are ready to be stuffed. Excuse me, we missed one.
All right, we'll take that one.
All right, so.
And you know what's interesting? I have to say, I'm sorry, I don't smell the fish.
No,
Did you do anything special to the fish?
No preparation to ensure that you know, you don't smell the fish itself, other than starting with an extremely fresh fish, and then when I got it, I made sure to pack it in ice. Okay. So that it keeps it cold enough that the fish does not start to turn.
Gotcha.
So we'll line this cavity now on the inside with those lemon slices that you saw me starting on a little bit earlier. I like to throw a couple of garlic cloves in there, and we'll just give it a little smash.
I love when chefs do that. 1, 2, 3. I can do that at home. Smash some garlic.
Yeah, and then last but not least, we're gonna throw in some thyme sprigs.
Now, Chef, how do you know if the fish is fresh when you're purchasing the whole fish?
Well, you're gonna look at the eyes, first of all. You wanna make sure that they're clear and not cloudy. And you wanna talk to the people that you're buying the fish from, you know? I mean, they're gonna know what's fresh and what's not.
Right.
But if you can smell it, then chances are it's not fresh. You know, like you said, we can't smell this fish because it is super, super fresh. Yeah. But yes, step one, look at those eyes. If they're cloudy, you don't want to buy it because that's been sitting around for at least a couple days, most likely closer to a week at that point.
Oh, wow. All right, so check the eyes, and if you smell it, great pro tips.
Yep. So we're going to do a couple of different preparations today because, you know, I feel like with a whole fish, you know, there's a couple of great ways, in my opinion, to do it. And I want to show you both of them.
Okay.
So one is very, very simple. And I wanted to show you this way because it is. It's simple. It's easy. Anyone can do it. All we're going to do is we're going to take a baking tray. We'll spray it with some avocado oil spray.
Okay.
We're
Does
going
that keep it from sticking, or is that for flavor?
It's going to keep it from sticking.
Okay.
But it's, you know, avocado oil, so it's healthy. It has a very neutral flavor, mild flavor, so it's not going to really flavor your fish, but mostly it's going to keep it from sticking.
Okay.
So we put a little bit of salt, some pepper, and we'll drizzle a little olive oil right before we go in the oven. But I wanted to start this next preparation, which is actually a salt-crusted fish.
That sounds fancy.
So, but it's super easy, or it's a lot easier than you might think.
Wonderful. And how many egg yolks?
This is 3 whites.
Oh, egg whites. I'm sorry, egg whites.
Yeah, 3 whites. We're looking to create almost like a wet sand consistency.
Oh, with the salt and the egg
With the salt and the egg. And what that'll do is that'll help to create that crust that we're talking about.
Wow, I got it. Okay.
Thank you. And what we do now is we start a little bit of a bed with a handful of our salt mix that we made. And that is the bed that the fish is going to lie on.
I love it. And I'm sure people are looking, Chef, and saying, now, wait a minute, that's a lot of salt. It's going to be too salty. I've got to watch it. But this is not, like you said, absorbing into the fish.
No. And to ensure that it doesn't get absorbed into the fish, you saw that I had it on paper towels, but we're going to pat it dry one last time because a dry fish will actually help to prevent that salt from penetrating deeper into the flesh.
Nice pro tip.
And now, right on our bed.
All right. While you lay that there, let me just tell everyone, if you want to bake a bronzino for dinner, we have Chef Matthew's recipes ready on our website, dinnerdeas.com. And you can download and print it out with all the amounts, all the ingredients. You can also scan that QR code on the corner of the screen to find us. And it just means opening up your camera, point it directly at the screen. You'll see that box in the corner. And that way you will link and it'll pop up right on your phone, this delicious recipe. Now, wait a minute. You've done a little burial here with salt.
We buried it. That's right. Now we're going to pack it on real nice and tight.
Wow, that lemon smells great.
Yeah, there is a nice freshness coming out of there.
Wow. It's nice not to see the head chef, I gotta be honest. The face kind of scares me a little bit. What do you say to those chefs like myself, a home chef, that are a little frightened by looking at the head? Do we need to leave it on?
We can remove it, but I would prefer to remove it after we cook it, just to prevent that flesh from drying out around that top portion of the fish.
Aha, so it cooks better with the head on.
Yes.
Okay, can I get the oven for you?
Please.
All right.
All right, we're going in at 425. These fish are pretty large. They're about 800 grams, which is a little bit under 2 pounds.
Okay.
So we're going to go for 25 minutes.
Okay. Are you changing it because you have 2 in the oven? Or is it normally about?
It would normally be between 20 and 25 minutes, but because they're larger fish, we're starting at 25 minutes.
All right. All right, we're going to take a little break while these bad boys are in there. When we come back, Chef is going to share some suitable sides for our fresh fish dish ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz. We're answering the call today, or rather the email. Latrice wrote us from Apollo Beach wanting ideas for cooking up a whole fish. So we asked Chef Matthew Zappoli to join us to share 2 ways of branzino. The fish is in the oven. While you're doing that, let me ask you about the sides. I see you're already seasoning, cutting potatoes, and getting ready to finish and complete the meal.
Yeah, it's a simple preparation of fish, so I didn't get too complicated with the sides. I got some fingerling potatoes that I'm going to do with some olive oil, some rosemary, some chopped garlic, some kosher salt, and some black pepper. And I'll throw a little bit more oil on that tray just to keep them from sticking, but also help them crisp up.
Right, and maybe, I mean, the fish is already in the oven. We started that at, for 25 minutes. The oven's already on, so we can just throw the potatoes in.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're throwing our potatoes
I love that.
in. And I wanted to do something, since we have Mediterranean sea bass, I kind of wanted to stick with that same theme or genre of cooking.
Right,
So we're gonna take those tomatoes and do similar to a puttanesca sauce.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with some olive oil, some chopped garlic, and some chopped shallots. And we're just going to get those starting to sweat. Yeah.
And like not even 30 seconds, it's just that aroma is unbelievable.
Yeah, pops. And then what we're gonna do while we got those flavors coming out is add a pinch of oregano.
Okay.
All right, now it's already starting to sweat real nice. We've got our flavors building in there. We've got a little bit of salt. We'll add some black pepper. And then we've got these beautiful little baby heirloom tomatoes.
Beautiful. You just washed and cut these. I have to make sure they're good. Very nice.
Sweet.
Very sweet.
Nice pop to them.
Beautiful.
So those go in. You can hear a nice sizzle going on there. We'll give them a little bit of salt.
I could eat those just as is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, toss them with a little bit of olive oil and salt. Throw them on top of an arugula salad.
Oh, my goodness. That looks delightful. It's time for one more break. But when we come back, we cook up the fancy cousin of the green bean. Ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Hey, welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. Chef Matthew Zappoli is my guest, and he runs the restaurants at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, and is back with us today to answer a viewer email. Miss Latrice, thank you. She wanted ideas for fish, a whole fish. That's right, heads on and everything. Ooh, Latrice, you better be glad I love you. So we are baking everything. We're actually doing it two ways, both really quick and easy enough for those weeknights. So before the break, we got started on some of the sides. First, Parmesan crusted potatoes by just tossing potatoes with olive oil, rosemary, thyme, that wonderful fresh garlic, salt and pepper, and then roasting it in the same oven as the fish, followed by a puttanesca style sauce, sweating the garlic and the shallots in olive oil, then adding the fresh tomatoes, and during the break, capers, olives, then deglazing with white wine, then adding olive oil, basil, parsley, oregano, pepper. Almost as quick as opening up a jar, but a whole lot better and way fresher. This smells incredible. So now it's time for the green beans cousin. And what do we call these green bean cousins? They have a new name.
These green beans are called haricots verts. And this is a French green bean, and you can see it's a little bit more narrow. We like to keep the very tips of the haricot vert on for presentation purposes. If it was a green bean, you'd snip them off.
Okay.
But we do snip the bottom portion off.
So just
where
one side. Okay.
Yeah, where it was growing off of. And we're going to do a simple saute on them. I've got some good olive oil going. You got some sliced garlic. I'm going to add some chopped shallot, which is one of my favorite ingredients to use.
I am with you on that, because I notice you don't have onions, so you prefer the shallots, that onion flavor profile, if you will. I love that. Haricot vert.
Haricot vert going in. Now these have been blanched already.
Okay.
So what I've done is I just brought some water to a boil. I let these go in there for just, maybe a minute, just to take that rawness off and just loosen it up a little bit. We're gonna add a little bit of fresh lemon juice.
Beautiful.
I've got my
haricot vert.
Fresh lemons here.
So fresh.
We'll just give her a little squeeze. Those are ready to go. A little bit more olive oil just for flavor.
Yes.
And then our fish are ready.
Oh my goodness, the moment we've been waiting for. While the chef grabs that, remember, you can grab the recipe of our baked bronzino, head on and all. Just head to our website, dinnerdeas.com, to get your phone out too and scan that QR code. It makes it really simple. Just aim it right at the corner of the screen, and then you can find us.
These are ready to go.
Oh, I love that. Well, while the fish exhales and takes a little rest, we will too, giving us some energy to come back from the break and have Chef Matthew share how he debones these fishes. It's all ahead on Dinner DeeAs. All right, right, welcome back to Dinner DeeAs, where we're not just making fish, not once, but twice, as Chef Matthew Zappoli is answering your questions from one of our lovely viewers, the lovely Latrice, who wanted suggestions for cooking up a whole fish, and we bake them, and one in a salt crust.
We want to just crack that crust and get in there.
Wow. Wake up, wake up.
You know, for presentation purposes in a restaurant, you'd find like a mallet or something to hit that salt with, and you make a whole presentation about it. But for what we're doing here, I just want to get that fish out so I can show you how to debone it.
I was going to say, it's interesting, when you were rubbing the top of the fish, it's moist, like it's not hard and crusty. And of course you're wondering, probably like me, are you wondering if it's salty? I know, cannot wait to taste it. Oh, the unveiling, and I love it stayed in one piece.
Yeah.
Love this.
Okay, so you see the crust.
Yes.
You see the skin. Now, to debone this, I like to start back here and kind of release that skin from the backbone.
Okay. I love that you're making this so we don't have to be intimidated.
Yeah, and then what we want to do is we want to peel that skin off.
Oh. Wow. Wow, that came out from one piece.
Yeah. Now, in a restaurant, they would use 2 spoons, and they'd be really fancy about how they did this table side. You know, like I said, we would take 2 spoons, and we want to separate those 2 fillets that we have here to make it a little bit nicer and easier for the guests to eat. This, I found, is probably your best friend when you're doing something like this, a little offset spatula.
Okay.
Now you can pull these little bones out of the head area, but what I want to do is I want to flip this fish off of the bone here. Just got to get right in there.
Okay.
And then it just falls right off.
Wow. Look at that.
All right, now I do the same thing on the other side.
And
I
that's normally
remove
the
it from the
fillet
bone.
that we would
Yeah,
see in
that's
the
what
store.
you're going to eat.
Yeah.
That's what you would buy in the store, this piece and that piece together. Let me get my spatula.
Okay.
Okay, so now again, this piece is off. That piece is off. We are going to go to our plate.
Wow, look at that.
There are some little bones in here you got to be careful of.
Okay.
That is one downside of doing whole fish, is there are bones. You're going to run into them. You have to be ready, willing, and able to, you know, eat around them, you know, be able to see them and pull them out yourself.
Lovely.
But yeah, you could see how juicy that fish is from cooking it whole like that. Now, this is the fun part. This is the part where, you know, it kind of reminds you of, you know, those shows that you saw when you were a kid.
Right, those little cartoons.
Yeah, we just, we pull the
Yes.
tail, we pull that bone right up and out.
Wow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, now all this stuff we remove. We'll use our spatula here to remove some of that firmer stuff around here. That's like the neck bone cartilage there. And there's some bones here we want to remove. You can see them pretty clearly.
They are very clear.
Now you have a choice, because underneath this piece of fish, you do have skin.
Yes.
So what we could do is we can serve this whole thing with the skin still intact. Or we can remove it. I'm going to choose.
I was going to say, what's your preference?
Yeah, I'm going to choose to remove it here today, just because, you know, that skin could tend to be a little bit soft. And if I'm going to do skin, I want it to be crispy.
Agreed.
So since this is not crispy, we're going to remove the flesh. And we want to get these bones from around the head portion or the top portion of the fish.
Love that. Now, Chef, could you use another fish besides bronzino?
Absolutely. This will work for virtually any whole fish you can imagine. There are restaurants that do whole salmon for special events. And, you know, that's a much bigger fish. So all you have to do is adjust your time your cook time and test the fish. Make sure it's cooked through the way we did with our thermometer. And sure, you can use salmon, grouper, snapper is a great option. I love yellowtail snapper if I'm gonna do a whole salted fish just because of the size. It's very similar in size to the bronzino. And yeah, countless options, especially locally, snook and mullet.
I think the bronzino, we need to bring it to the forefront a little bit. We have grouper week, we need a bronzino week.
Last but not least, we top it with our puttanesca sauce.
Oh my goodness, that's a dream. I love that. Beautiful garnish. This would make an incredible presentation, whether it's weeknight or special guest. Oh, I'd be delighted. Okay, here we go. Are you going to join me?
I have to. That looks amazing.
This is great. Let me get some of these wonderful olives. Oh, let me get in here. Unbelievable.
Is it salty?
Not at all. Numero uno. I didn't want to talk with my mouth full. I was savoring that. Unbelievably, in the salt crust, it's not salty at all. Zero salt. Oh, that's good. And don't forget, you can grab the recipe for everything Chef Matthew made today. Go to dinnerdeas.com. And Matthew, thank you so much, Chef Matthew.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So fabulous. And you can check out the link to his many restaurants over at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. I'm Angie Corley, and we will see you next time with more ideas for dinner. Now get to cooking, and let's get to eating.